From the day you were born, society built a system around you, one that trains you to obey, not to lead. You were told to sit still, follow the rules, take on debt, get a job, and hope for a paycheck that barely keeps up with inflation. That's not success. That's slavery with extra steps. From the moment you enter school, you're placed in a system that's not built to help you win. It's built to condition you to obey. The bells ring like factory whistles, signaling when to start, when to stop, when to eat, and when to leave. You're not taught how to think critically, how to question authority, or how to take control of your own destiny. Instead, you're taught to memorize and regurgitate. You're graded on compliance, not creativity. From childhood, you're groomed to be a cog in the machine, not the architect of the machine itself. Society's system rewards obedience and punishes rebellion. It celebrates safe choices. Go to school, get good grades, get into college, take on debt, get a job, and spend the next 40 years working for someone else, hoping that one day you'll retire and finally start living. That's the path they want you to take. Not because it benefits you, but because it maintains control. It keeps the powerful in power and the majority distracted, dependent, and quiet. They don't teach you how to make money work for you. They don't teach you about investments, leverage, entrepreneurship, or the mindset of high performers. You don't learn how to take risks, how to build confidence, how to negotiate, or how to lead others. These are the skills that create winners, but they're hidden, buried under layers of propaganda, distraction, and fear. Because if too many people knew how to win, the system would collapse. They want you to fear failure. They want you to believe that starting your own business is too risky, that chasing your dream is unrealistic, that playing it safe is the responsible thing to do. But playing it safe is the most dangerous thing you can do if your goal is freedom. The safe path keeps you living paycheck to paycheck, stressed, unhealthy, and unfulfilled. It makes you dependent on the system that uses you. Look around. The people who win, truly win, didn't follow the standard path. They broke rules, took risks, and embraced discomfort. They didn't accept the identity society assigned them. They created their own, and they were hated for it, criticized for it, but in the end, they were free. If you're waiting for permission to win, you've already lost. The system isn't going to hand you success. You have to break out. You have to learn what school never taught you. You have to rewire your mind to think like a king, not a servant. Because the longer you stay in the system's lane, the further you get from your real potential. The system needs workers, but it fears winners, and that fear is your weapon. If you choose to become something they can't control. Weak men are easier to control because they lack the strength to stand alone. When a man is physically weak, he walks through life with his head down, avoiding conflict, seeking approval, and compromising his values just to fit in. He becomes passive, agreeable, and easy to manipulate. He fears confrontation, avoids discomfort, and clings to the illusion of safety, not realizing that his submission is exactly what the system depends on. Mental weakness is even more dangerous. A man who cannot control his thoughts, emotions, and impulses is a slave to every distraction, every temptation, and every opinion around him. He is guided by fear, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of judgment. He'll do whatever it takes to stay accepted by the crowd, even if it means betraying his own identity. He lives in a constant state of insecurity, needing validation from women, approval from society, and direction from someone stronger than him. Weak men are more likely to believe lies. They're easier to scare, easier to control with media narratives, and easier to silence. Give them a bit of comfort, a paycheck, a promotion, a digital escape, and they'll stay quiet, even if everything around them is collapsing. They will obey orders they don't believe in just to avoid confrontation. They will accept mediocrity and call it responsibility. They won't rise up, won't question authority, and won't take control of their lives because they've been trained to stay small. Society doesn't fear weak men, it feeds off them. It needs them to follow the rules without thinking. It needs them to fear standing out. It needs them to be too distracted with video games, alcohol, or porn to realize their strength is being stolen. It wants them emotionally fragile, physically lazy, and spiritually numb. Because when a man is weak, he becomes dependent on the system, on a relationship, on external structure, and dependency is control. But the moment a man becomes strong, in body, mind, and spirit, he becomes a threat. A strong man cannot be easily manipulated. He doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't chase worthless approval. He moves with purpose. He sets his own standards. He thinks critically, speaks boldly, and acts with confidence. You can't buy a strong man's silence. You can't scare him into submission. You can't guilt him into surrender. That's why the world tries so hard to keep men weak. It's not accidental. It's by design, because a strong man leads himself and others. He doesn't tolerate disrespect. He doesn't settle for average. He builds, protects, provides, and stands firm. He becomes a living example of what freedom truly looks like. And once a few men become that strong, others follow. And that's when control begins to crumble. Discipline is your way out of mediocrity, confusion, and weakness. It's not motivation that will save you. Motivation is fleeting. One day it's there, the next day it's gone. But discipline, that's the force that shows up whether you feel like it or not. It's the voice in your head that says, get up, when your body begs for comfort. It's the decision to keep going when quitting is the easier option. Discipline is not just a habit. It's the foundation of power. Every man who has ever transformed his life didn't rely on good luck or talent. He relied on discipline. He created a system, stuck to it, and showed up daily. While others hit snooze, he woke up early. While others wasted hours scrolling and complaining, he was building, grinding, and mastering himself. That's the difference. Discipline turns chaos into order. It takes raw potential and molds it into something unstoppable. You can't escape the life you hate without discipline. You can't become rich without it. You can't build a powerful body without it. You can't master your mind without it. Freedom is on the other side of discipline. You think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. That's not freedom. That's slavery to your emotions and impulses. True freedom comes when you're in full control of yourself, when your mind, body, and actions obey your mission, not your feelings. Every time you choose discipline, you kill the weak version of yourself. You silence the voice that says, it's okay to take it easy. You reject excuses. You ignore distractions. You build mental toughness, brick by brick. And eventually, you become the kind of man who is untouchable. Life gets hard, you don't fold. People doubt you, you stay focused. Results take time, you keep showing up. The world will tempt you to break discipline every day. Cheap dopamine, comfort, distractions. It's all designed to keep you stuck. But the disciplined man doesn't fall for that. He moves with strategy, not emotion. He trains when he's tired. He reads when others sleep. He builds when others waste time. He doesn't need external validation because his identity is forged through consistent action. Discipline gives you confidence because it builds proof. When you do hard things every day, your mind starts to believe you're unstoppable. And that belief becomes your reality. People will wonder how you changed. They'll ask for your secret, but it won't be a secret, it'll be discipline, quiet, ruthless, unshakable. Without discipline, you're just drifting. With it, you're dangerous. Information is no longer just knowledge, it's a weapon. And in today's world, the one who controls information controls the minds of millions. The truth is filtered, twisted, and packaged to serve an agenda. What you see, hear, and read is carefully curated to shape your beliefs, your behavior, and your decisions without you even realizing it. From the media to social platforms to school systems, you're constantly being fed narratives, not facts. Most people think they're informed. They scroll through headlines, watch the news, and repeat what they've heard as if it's gospel. But they never stop to ask, who benefits from me believing this? That's the question that exposes the game. You're not just being educated, you're being programmed. And if you don't take control of what enters your mind, someone else will. Fear is one of the most effective tools in this information war. The media thrives on fear because scared people are easier to control. Scared people follow rules without questioning them. Scared people beg for authority to save them, even if that means giving up their freedom. Whether it's financial collapse, global crises, or social panic, fear is the narrative, and obedience is the goal. The education system is another battlefield. You're taught what to think, not how to think. You memorize, you obey, you pass. But independent thought, questioning the narrative, that's punished. Schools reward conformity. They don't teach you how to build wealth, develop discipline, or become a leader. They teach you how to become a good employee, someone who takes orders, doesn't question authority, and depends on the system to survive. Even social media, which was once about connecting people, has become a weaponized tool of distraction. Algorithms are engineered to keep you addicted, scrolling endlessly through nonsense while your goals rot in the background. You think you're relaxing, but you're being drained of your focus, your ambition, and your potential. Every minute you spend consuming useless content is a minute you're not building yourself. The dangerous part is, most people don't even realize it. They laugh at those who question the narrative. They mock the people who think differently. But that's exactly how control works. It makes you defend the very system that keeps you weak. It convinces you that freedom is selfish and that submission is virtue. But once you wake up, once you start questioning, researching, and thinking critically, you become immune to manipulation. You stop accepting everything at face value. You dig deeper. You search for truth. You disconnect from the noise, and suddenly the world starts to make sense. In a world where information is weaponized, thinking for yourself is an act of rebellion. It's how you protect your mind, your future, and your freedom. Responsibility is power because the moment you take full ownership of your life, you take control of your future. Most people spend their entire lives blaming everything but themselves for where they are. They blame their parents, the economy, their past, their boss, their partner, their education, or even bad luck. But all of that is just noise. The truth is, as long as you're blaming something else, you're giving away your power. You're choosing to be a victim instead of the creator of your life. Responsibility means you stop waiting for someone to fix your situation. You stop hoping for a lucky break. You stop looking for someone to rescue you. You realize that your success, your health, your mindset, your income, your relationships, all of it, is your responsibility. Not your fault, but your responsibility. And there's a massive difference between the two. Something might not be your fault, but once it's in your life, it's your job to deal with it. That's what powerful people do. They handle it. Taking responsibility doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you get stronger. It means you stop making excuses. You stop complaining. You stop wasting energy on things you can't control and start focusing on what you can. You start developing habits that build strength instead of habits that feed weakness. You start showing up even when you don't feel like it. You start making hard decisions and standing by them, and little by little, you become the kind of person that nothing can break. When you live without responsibility, you live in chaos. You react instead of lead. You drift through life hoping things will get better, but they don't. Because you're not steering the ship. You're waiting. You're hoping. But you're not building. Responsibility is the steering wheel. It gives you direction, focus, and clarity. It forces you to grow, to level up, and to rise above mediocrity. No one respects a man who avoids responsibility, and deep down, even he doesn't respect himself. Because a man knows when he's running. He knows when he's hiding behind excuses, and that quiet shame eats away at his confidence. But when you own your situation, even the ugly parts, you regain your dignity. You stand taller, you walk with purpose, you look in the mirror and see someone real, someone capable of handling life, not escaping it. Most people fear responsibility because it comes with pressure. But what they don't realize is that pressure creates diamonds, pressure builds strength, And if you want power, real power, you must first accept responsibility for everything in your life, even the things you didn't choose. Because the man who says, "It's all on me," is the man who eventually says, "I built this." Build yourself into a weapon, because the world doesn't respect weakness. No one is coming to save you, guide you, or hand you power. In a world full of noise, distractions, and manipulation, the only way to survive and thrive is to become sharp, physically, mentally, and emotionally. A weapon is not created overnight. It's forged in fire, tested in battle, and refined through discipline. That's what you must become: dangerous, not to hurt others, but so no one can hurt you. To build yourself into a weapon, start with your body. Your physical state is the foundation of your confidence, energy, and presence. When you're strong, you move differently. You speak differently. You command attention without trying. A man who trains every day doesn't just look powerful. He feels it. He walks into a room and doesn't need to prove anything. His discipline, pain tolerance, and consistency speak for him. Fitness isn't just about muscles. It's about sharpening the body to match the mindset of a warrior. Then comes the mind. Your mind is your most powerful weapon, but most men neglect it. A weapon that isn't sharpened is useless. You must read, learn, and think deeply. You must protect your thoughts from poison, negativity, propaganda, and self-doubt. The world will try to infect your mind with weakness, with entitlement, with excuses. Reject it all, study real wisdom, question everything. Train your brain to be calm under pressure, to focus when others panic, and to see clearly when everyone is blinded by emotion. Control your emotions, or they will control you. Emotional discipline is rare in this world, which is why it's so powerful. Don't let anger, fear, or sadness dictate your actions. A weapon doesn't fire on its own. It responds with purpose. You must learn to master your reactions. Speak less, observe more. Don't chase drama, arguments, or cheap attention. Be the man who stays cool when others lose their heads. That calmness is intimidating. That control is strength. Becoming a weapon also means cutting off weakness in all its forms. Eliminate laziness. Cut out toxic habits. Remove people who drain your energy or distract you from your mission. You can't afford to be soft. You can't afford to be average. The world doesn't slow down for anyone. And if you're not prepared, you'll be destroyed. Not always physically, but mentally and financially. That's why you must become untouchable. Being a weapon means being ready. Ready for the opportunities, the challenges, and the enemies that life throws your way. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your preparation. So prepare like your life depends on it, because it does. You are either being built or broken with every decision you make. Choose to build. Choose to sharpen. Choose to become something this world cannot ignore.